What is up, you guys? This is All Denny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Defiance 2050 video. So with this video, I know it's been a while since I made my last Defiance video, but with this one, I'm going to be basically talking about your legendary weapons. So legendary weapons in this game, to me, it's pretty disappointing because it doesn't really give you much of that legendary feel. You don't feel like the weapon is really legendary. It doesn't feel any different from your purples or your greens or your blues or whatever. All it is really the damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what the legendary weapons would look like, just in case you guys haven't seen. So you guys would go, it would be an orange weapon. So my boss, BAS-7 Derailer Selector, is a legendary weapon. I have a few others, but this is the only one that I see right now. So as you can see in the mastery bonuses, it says it grants evasive maneuvers rank 2, requires equipped class assassin. So the assassin would be the one that would have to be using this weapon in order for that fourth bonus to actually activate. Now, I already use evasive maneuvers in my build, so this perk pretty much becomes useless to me because I am not getting anything out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the assassin so you can see what evasive maneuvers does. So assassin evasive maneuvers, it gives performing a role will grant you basically a damage buff. It's not going to give me 15% damage buff, it'll give me a, I believe like 5 or 10% or something. But it's just, to me, that is just, it's just not that great at all, especially of a legendary weapon, because you'd expect a legendary weapon to feel superior compared to all these other weapons. And if it's not even for your class type, then it's basically like you're using a purple weapon that has an additional 50 stats on it, or additional 50 bonuses to it. So since the legendaries can go up to plus 250 and the purples only goes up to plus 200, so I don't know, to me it just doesn't feel useful compared to something like a prototype, where prototypes have their own special perks. For example, that's the only one I can think of right now, is that's that. It gives you, on its legendary perk, it gives you increased damage to single target. And then if you use that with the Demolitionist perk, where the Demolitionist gets the increased damage to single targets right here, odd man out, you're doing a lot more damage with that. That's pretty good right there for the prototype bonuses. I think the prototype bonuses are fine where they're at, but I think the way that legendary weapons can or should be reworked, and I'm hoping developers would end up seeing this, and if they don't, you know, that sucks for us. But you know, the way I think that the legendary weapons should be reworked is, for example, with the Derailer Selector. Since it's a sniper, let's just say 1 out of 10 different legendary perks. If you get a critical hit on an enemy, it'll ricochet to other nearby enemies as well, doing 50% less damage to each enemy, but they have to be within 5 to 10 meters of that enemy that you hit. That would be a pretty awesome legendary perk, in my opinion, because that would feel pretty cool, you know, just to see that ricochet go between multiple enemies. Or let's say you have, I guess, a rocket launcher, the Sulos Flare Selector, right? This holds up to 3 rockets in a mag. Now let's say the legendary perk was, it would, all 3 shots, instead of shooting 1 missile at a time and then having to reload all 3, it would shoot all 3 at once, and then you would reload and it'll reload all 3, but it would still technically take all 3 shots out of your ammo clip or whatever. So that, I think that would be pretty cool. Like, there's a bunch of different legendary perk ideas that I have, but I mean, it sucks because it's not here. And I'd be fine with anything else other than these perks, because a lot of these perks I either don't use, I don't care for, or I'm just not using that class, but I want to use the weapon. And if I want to use the weapon and I'm not using that class, it just makes it not useful. As useful, I suppose. I mean, it just makes it as if this was just a purple weapon. And now for the shields, I don't think, actually, so I do have 2 shields. So the shields are not bad at all. As you can see, it's at 33% health regen for the invigorated rebel shield, but for purple it's 23%. And I mean, there's not a big difference other than a 10%, obviously. But I think with the legendary shields in general should have its own legendary perk aside from the extra bonus that it gets compared to a purple. So yes, the invigorated rebel shield should definitely keep that 33% health regen over the 23% or 21%, whatever it is, on the purple shield. But let's say, since this is an invigorated rebel shield, let's say it'll give you, I don't know, like when you have 50% health, you gain reload speed, or you have an increase in movement speed, or your damage is increased by 10-15% or something like that. That would be pretty nice. Or if you have, let's say, the invigorated rhino shield, or some other shield like the hardened ironclad shield, right? One of the armor types, the ones that give you yellow bars. So something like that would be pretty cool if you can get it to where they give you an increase in durability or damage reduction or something. Like, let's say the damage, you take 50% less damage from non-elemental damages, which means if it's just a bullet or if it's just a regular missile, you take 50% less damage from those. But if it's a nano effect like fire or corrosive or electricity, etc., then those will do regular amounts of damage to you. And then I guess the stabilized tachyon, if you lose your blue shield, then you get an increase in movement speed, or I don't know, you know, just something that makes a legendary shield feel legendary. And then the last one would be your grenades. So I got rid of my grenades, my legendary grenades, because they honestly don't feel any different from a purple or blue shield. Like, even the damage alone feels exactly the same as all these other grenades that I have. And then the detonate time is pretty much the same, refresh time is pretty much the same, everything is literally the same with the grenades. Now the thing is with the grenades is, I think they should definitely keep it the same, other than the fact that they need to add a legendary perk. So adding a legendary perk to both the shield and the grenades is something that they should definitely do. So I think with the legendary grenade, like let's say the frag grenade. The frag grenade would get something like, it would get a cluster bomb grenade, like a chance for cluster bombs or something. Or the incendiary grenade would be something where like it would shoot out fireballs or whatever. Or the pulse grenade, since they're technically taking out the stun from pulse grenade, it would keep the stun for pulse grenade. Or, you know, quantum grenade, it would pull enemies in the middle of it. Something, I don't know, you know, just something that makes it, gives it that little push over its purples or the blue tiers. So that's pretty much it though. This is like a little rant video that I wanted to make for a while, but I just never really came up and done it because I just didn't feel like it. But you know, I just want to see what you guys think on it, if you guys agree or disagree. If you agree and you have other ideas, that what would you want to see, I guess, for a legendary weapon or legendary shield or grenade or whatever, you know. I think they definitely just need to add, they definitely need to add something different. They need to change the way the legendary perks work for the legendary weapons. Even if they have to make it the same exact way the prototype weapons perks are, that would be fine. But they need to, I feel like they need to take these perks out. They need to take these perks out from what they are now with these legendary weapons and just change it, because the perks is just terrible in my opinion, and I honestly don't like it. And a lot of other people don't like it either, that actually have the legendary weapons. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.